Hello all. Till now in microbiology we have finished bacteria, virus and fungi. So we are moving from bacteria, which is a prokaryotic organism, to fungi, which is an eukaryotic organism. Now today we are going to cover algae, which is again a type of an eukaryotic organism. In this slide, we are typically going to talk about the general characteristics of an algae. Now, just like I said in my previous slide, all algae are eukaryotic organisms. So, they can be in unicellular form or they can be in multicellular form. They are typically autotrophic organisms. That means they synthesize their own food. Now, most of the algae are photosynthetic in nature, just like our plants, and they are called as simple organisms because they do not have an organized tissue structure. That means they do not have distinct organs. Now, all of the algae derive their energy from oxidative photosynthesis by making use of the energy from the sun. Now, just like we studied in the previous chapter, study of fungi is called as mycology. In the same way, study of algae will be called as phycology. Okay. Now, the last point says that they range from microscopic unicellular to the largest and the most complex marine forms such as seafoods. So, they are both unicellular as well as multicellular in nature. Now this slide typically tells you the classification of algae into different divisions. So they are classified into chlorophyta, charophyta, euglenophyta, phaeophyta, chrysophyta, rheophyta, cryptophyta, rhodophyta and cyanophyta. Now in this slide you can see algae of different shapes and sizes ranging from unicellular to multicellular, that is from Chlamydomonas to your Euglena, that is from unicellular to your multicellular. They can be with flagella, they can be without flagella also. Now let's move on to the morphological characteristics of an algae. In terms of shape and size, the algae can be unicellular or multicellular. Now, when it is in the form of unicellular organism, it can be spherical shaped, rod shaped, club shaped or even spindle shaped. Multicellular organism is often in the form of a cluster or in the form of colonies or in the form of filaments. Now, when it is in the form of a multicellular organism, the body of an algae is usually termed as a thallus. Now we have seen that in bacteria the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. In your fungi it is made up of chitin. In case of an algae it is made up of it is a thin but a rigid cell wall. Now in most of the cases when we refer in terms of algae such as diatoms, they have a cell wall which is made up of silica, which is very thick and is rigid. Now Euglena is a motile type of algae which has a very flexible kind of cell membrane and which is usually termed as your periplast. It contains various cellular organs or cellular inclusions such as your starch grains, oil droplets, vacuoles, chlorophyll, chloroplast, etc. Now most important part of an algae is the algal pigments. Now these pigments are divided into three types: chlorophyll, carotenoids and biloproteins. Now we'll see what are these in detail. Now the first algal pigment is your chlorophyll. Now these chlorophyll are available in 5 types such as your A, B, C, D and E. Now all of your algae contain chlorophyll A, which is the photosynthetic pigment. Chlorophyll B is available only in 2 types of divisions, which is your Euglenophycophyta and Chlorophycophyta. Chlorophyll C is found in 3 divisions such as your Xanthophycophyta, Cryptophycophyta and Phaeophycophyta. Chlorophyll D only available in your Rhodophytophyta division, and chlorophyll E, which is a very rare group, is found only in 2 divisions, 2 genera rather, of your Xanthophycophyta. The next algal pigment is your carotenoids. So basically we have studied chlorophyll and now we are going to study about carotenoids. Now both your chlorophyll and carotenoids are lipid soluble pigments, whereas the next thing that we are going to study, that is your biloprotein, are water soluble pigments. Now let's focus on carotenoids. Carotenoids are of 2 types. First one is your carotenes and second one is your xanthophylls. Carotenes are a type of linear unsaturated hydrocarbons, whereas xanthophylls are the oxygenated derivatives of your carotenes itself. Now these are available in alpha carotene, beta carotene and gamma carotene, and xanthophylls are available in alloxanthine and floxoxanthine. Now these beta carotene are available in all divisions of the algae, whereas alpha and gamma are available in some, and alloxanthine and fructoxanthine is available in some orders of your algae. Now biloprotein, just as we discussed earlier, they are water soluble pigments. Now they are pigment protein complexes which are available only in 2 divisions of algae, such as your Rhodophycophyta and your Cryptophycophyta. These 2 kinds of biloproteins are phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. Now we'll talk about algae in terms of its motility. All the motile algae are called as swimming algae. Motility may be due to the presence of flagella. Since most of the algae are present in sea, they can achieve motility because of the movement of tides and waves. Next is, asexual reproductive cells are sometimes motile, hence they can achieve the motility. Now just like we have studied reproduction in fungi, which is your asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction, even algae shows reproduction in 2 types, asexual and sexual. First we'll focus on asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which your number of chromosomes, that is remains n, that is most of the time it is in haploid state, and in sexual reproduction it gets converted into a diploid stage. So asexual reproduction occurs by these many methods. So first is your cellular bisection. So basically any algal cell can divide longitudinally or transversally and can become into 2 cells, which is called as your cellular bisection. Second one is called as your zoospores or aplanospores. Zoospores are basically flagellated reproductive cells from which a new individual colony can grow, and sometimes these cells are already present inside a mother cell. So these type of cells are called as your aplanospores. Autospores are non-motile spores that cannot develop into a zoospores. Sometimes there is something it is called as an autocolony formation. So a single cell can undergo divisions for several times and can form into a mini colony. Fragmentation, a single colony or a single filament can break into several pieces and then that can continue to grow. Akinete is a special type of asexual spore, which is a kind of an enlarged vegetative cell having a thick wall and storage products, and its function is rather not reproduction, but it is survival against harsh conditions. So akinetes cannot undergo, or rather it will not prefer to become additional copies. The main aim of a kinete is to survive your harsh conditions. Second type of reproduction in algae is your sexual reproduction. So just like we studied in our fungi chapter, we have seen that whenever there is plasmogamy that occurs, so it is basically fusion of two haploid cells which are your gametes. So fusion of your cytoplasm will be called as your plasmogamy, and whenever there is fusion of the nucleus or the nuclei of the two cells, that process is called as your karyogamy, or which is also called as your nuclear fusion rather. So when karyogamy occurs, it forms a diploid zygote. Now when this occurs, it can occur due to different types of processes. So first is we will look what is gametes. Now gametes are a kind of a haploid cells. Now they are vegetative cells or they are very different. So that means they can be morphologically same or they can be morphologically different. Now what is isogamy? Isogamy is when the two gametes are almost identical in nature. Okay. Second is your anisogamy. So when the male and the female gametes are morphologically different, that thing is called as your anisogamy. Now what is oogamy? When one gamete is motile and other one is non-motile, that process is called as your oogamy. Preferably the male gamete is mostly motile because it has to reach to the female gamete, and the female gamete is a non-motile one. What is monoecious? Both gametes produced by the same individual. On the same algae, if you have male and the female gamete, that will be called as your monoecious. Dioecious, if they are produced by two different individuals, the male and the female gametes are produced by two different individuals, that will be called as your dioecious. Okay. Homothallic, if the gametes on the same individual, male and the female gamete on the same individual, if they can fuse with each other, that will be called as your homothallic. So it is called as a self-fertile algae. It does not need a different algae for the reproduction. That is your self-fertility. And next is your heterothallic gamete. If the two individuals, male and the female gamete on the same algae, cannot fuse with each other, that is called as your heterothallic gamete. So this is called as the self-sterility. They cannot fuse with each other. Now these are the various life cycles which an algae can exhibit. So first life cycle is one in which major part of the life cycle of the algae is spent in the vegetative phase. The vegetative phase is basically your haploid state. That means the number of chromosome number is n. Okay. When this particular phase undergoes meiosis, then it forms a zygote. Now since most of the life cycle is spent in the vegetative phase, this particular life cycle is called as your haplonectic life cycle. So you can see most of the life cycle here is in the vegetative phase, and only a part of the life cycle of the algae is into the zygotic phase. Okay. This is the second life cycle of an algae. Now in this vegetative phase is a diploid phase. Upon meiosis it undergoes upon meiosis it forms gametes. So most of the life cycle of this particular algae is spent in the diploid state. Hence this particular life cycle is called as the diplonectic life cycle, and this is the most predominant diploid phase. So if you can see in this particular diagram, there is a zygote which is your 2n. It gets converted into an algae. These algae has two types of spores, which is your antheridium and your oogonium. So Anthridium is your male spore, Oogonium is your female spore. These two spores, when get released, enter into the haploid state, and sometime it will again get fused, undergo fertilization and get converted into the zygote stage again. But the predominant part is spent in the diplontic phase. Now this is the most frequently asked question from this particular chapter, and that is your economic importance of algae. Where all places you can use algae. So first is, algae are the primary producers of oxygen in the aquatic areas. So because they are primary producers of oxygen in the aquatic areas, they are very useful for the fishes or the marine life which is present inside the ocean. Also, they are very much useful in decreasing the water pollution because they release oxygen in the aquatic areas. Second one is, algae can also be used as food. So algae are a very rich source of proteins and vitamins such as A, B, C and E, and in several countries such as example is Japan, algae is also used as food. So for example, Laminaria species, which is a kind of a seaweed, can be used in a food called as sushi. So the green coating that you see around sushi is nothing but your Laminaria species. Next is, algae can also be used as fertilizers. Now most of the algae have ability to fix oxygen. They are nitrogen fixers. So algae belonging to the category of say nostoc, oscillatoria, etc. can be used as nitrogen fixers. Spirulina is a very good source of protein. So it is used as a feed for fish and poultry or cattle, or even nowadays even human beings are consuming spirulina as a single cell protein. Next application of algae is in alginates. Alginates are basically salts of alginic acid. Now this alginic acid is obtained from algae belonging to Phaeophyceae category. Now these alginates are used, most common application that you can relate to is alginates are used in the preparation of ice creams. It can also be used in making paints, plastics, soups, etc. Agar agar. Now we have already studied different types of nutrient mediums that are used. So agar agar is the most common type of nutrient medium that is used in the microbiological studies. This agar agar is obtained from a red algae called as Gelidium. Now agar agar is basically a jelly like substance. So it melts at a higher temperature but it solidifies at a lower temperature. So on these jelly like substance you are able to grow and identify certain microorganisms. Next application is your carrageen or carrageenan as it is called. It is extracted from the cell walls of red green algae such as Chondrus or Gigantina. It is used as an emulsifier in the pharmaceutical industries. It can also be used in the textile or cosmetic industry. Next application of algae is diatomites. Now diatoms are different types of algae. They are present as deposits at marine and freshwater areas. Now these diatoms are a very rich source of silica. The cell wall is made up of silica and hence they are called as diatomite. Initially this silica rich algae were used in the preparation of dynamites, but nowadays they are used in glass industries, in paint industries or in making toothpaste. Next application is Funnori. Now Funnori is a type of a red algae which is belonging to the category of Gloipeltis furcata. Now this is a type of a red algae which produces a glue. Now this glue has a very good adhesive property and it can be used in your paper and cloth industry. Next application of algae is your minerals. Your algae is basically your brown seaweed algae are a very rich source of iron, zinc, copper, etc. Bromine is also extracted from a algae such as your Polysiphonia and Rhodymania. Next application of your algae is in the production of antibiotics and medicines. Now there are many extracts which are obtained from the algae that has the ability to kill your bacteria, pathogenic bacteria like your Pseudomonas and Mycobacterium. Now Laminaria is commonly used as a tool for abortion. It causes abortion. Seaweeds also has very beneficial effects on your kidneys, gallbladders, pancreas, etc. Algae also plays a very important role in sewage disposal. So species belonging to the category of cholera, then your Euryedina, etc. are used in sewage water treatment. They are useful because they help in releasing oxygen into that environment, and they also modify the carbonate material in the water into nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium fertilizers. Last application of algae is used as a research material. Now algae are very useful in research because they have the ability to grow rapidly in a very short lifespan, and they have a very easy mode of cultivation. So even because algae are the first in the category to carry out photosynthesis, they are used as a tool to study how photosynthesis occurs. Then they can also be used to study how nitrogen fixation occurs. They have a very simple genetic code, so it can be modified easily, and not easily as such, but then they are used in the genetics and cytologically studies because the structure is relatively simple as compared to other complex organisms.